Hello everyone, welcome to Earth Archives. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment and share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you. Today's historical mystery is the Great American Aviation Disaster, the disappearance of Northwest Airlines Flight 2501. If you're familiar with American geography, you likely know about Lake Michigan, one of North America's 5 Great Lakes, located along the US-Canada border. While the lake is vast and clear, the weather here can be volatile, and there have been numerous incidents involving both ships and planes. For instance, archaeologists conducting sonar scans at the lake's bottom once accidentally discovered something resembling the Stonehenge of Britain, located 12 meters underwater, with an engraving of a mammoth, an extinct species from 10,000 years ago. Lake Michigan has been the site of over 1,000 large shipwrecks, with 150 vessels leaving no trace. But the most mysterious event occurred on June the 23rd, 1950, when Northwest Airlines Flight 2501, carrying 58 people, vanished without warning while flying over the lake. This remains one of the largest aviation disasters in American history. Today we'll explore this mysterious disappearance. On Friday, June 23, 1950, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Flight 2501, a DC-4 aircraft, took off from LaGuardia Airport in New York, bound for Seattle, Washington. The flight was scheduled to make stops in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Spokane, Washington. The aircraft was piloted by Captain Robert C. Lind, with First Officer Vern F. Wolfe and Flight Attendant Bonnie Ann Feldman on board. The plane was carrying 55 passengers, including 27 women, 22 men, and 6 children. Before the flight, Captain Lind had been informed about thunderstorms over Lake Michigan, but no other aircraft had reported severe turbulence. Despite this, Flight 2501 was cleared for takeoff. During the flight, Captain Lind was instructed to descend to a lower altitude at various points to maintain safe distances from other aircraft. At 11:51 p.m. Eastern Time, as Flight 2501 flew at an altitude of 3,500 feet over Battle Creek, Michigan, it entered the storm front. At this time, Captain Lind contacted the Chicago Northwest Air Traffic Control Center, reporting that the plane would likely pass over Milwaukee in 46 minutes. The flight was scheduled to cross Lake Michigan along the Red 57 Airway, a route running northeast from Glen, Michigan, toward Milwaukee and Minneapolis. However, a line of squall, a fast-moving storm, had formed earlier that afternoon and was now moving towards the region of Lake Michigan. By midnight, the squall line had stretched across the lake, and lightning was frequently flashing across the water's surface. The official records are unclear about what Captain Lind saw or felt upon reaching the lake shore and the storm's intensity, which led to his decision-making. However, at 12:13 a.m. Eastern Time, near Benton Harbor, Michigan, approximately 20 miles south of the Red 57 Airway, Lind requested to descend to 2,500 feet, but did not specify the reason for the request. Considering the air traffic situation in the area, the Air Traffic Control Center denied the request. Little did anyone know, this would be Flight 2501's last communication. By dawn, it became apparent that Flight 2501 had crashed over Lake Michigan. Initially, authorities discovered oil slicks near Milwaukee, leading them to believe the crash had occurred there. However, it wasn't until a fisherman discovered a large section of aircraft debris near South Haven, Michigan, that the search focus shifted. The Coast Guard and Navy immediately launched a rescue operation near South Haven, but it quickly became clear that there were no survivors. The Coast Guard began recovering floating wreckage, while state authorities began retrieving debris that had washed ashore. The Navy was tasked with searching underwater for any additional wreckage. After 5 days of searching, authorities concluded that they were unable to locate the exact crash site. The tragedy resulted in the loss of all 58 lives, making it the deadliest aviation accident in U.S. history at the time. A month later, the Civil Aeronautics Board, CAB, held a hearing in Chicago, collecting testimonies from over 30 witnesses within 2 days, including coastline witnesses, Northwest Airlines staff, and Coast Guard and Navy personnel. In January 1951, the CAB released its final report based on the hearing, which could not determine the cause of the accident. The report only suggested a possible crash site located 18 miles northwest of Benton Harbor, Michigan, off the designated flight path, an area that at the time was hard to believe. Then, in 2004, the Michigan Shipwreck Research Association, MSRA, began searching for the wreckage of Flight 2501. Before they started, the renowned novelist and explorer Clive Cussler reached out to the MSRA. Having heard about their interest in finding the wreckage, Cussler proposed a joint venture between the MSRA and his non-profit organization, the National Underwater and Marine Agency, NUMA. NUMA, which had successfully located numerous shipwrecks over the past 2 decades, would collaborate with MSRA on the search. To initiate the project, Cussler sent side-scan sonar expert Ralph Wilbanks to South Haven, Michigan, where he worked alongside the MSRA to conduct their investigation and compile the research and development reports. In the fall of that year, the team conducted a search based on the predicted crash site, but they were unsuccessful. Both organizations agreed that based on the evidence of floating debris, the search area needed to be expanded by about 600 square miles. However, due to funding constraints, the search area had to be reduced. As a result, MSRA teamed up with renowned Lake Michigan scientist David Schwab and NOAA. Using drift analysis, NOAA helped narrow the search to a more specific, smaller electronic search zone. Cussler also collaborated with external experts on ocean drift theory, whose approach differed from David Schwab's. But since Cussler was financing the search, he had the final authority on the search location. From 2004 to 2013, the team searched about 450 square miles, but still failed to locate the wreckage. However, they did discover the remains of 10 significant shipwrecks. Van Heest, who had written about some of these shipwrecks in her books and magazine articles, personally gave hundreds of lectures and appeared on television discussing many of these discoveries. In 2014, MSRA decided to continue exploring independently. Motivated by the work of the MSRA, Clive Cussler decided to send his team on 3 separate expeditions in 2015, 2016 and 2017, but they still couldn't locate the wreck. Since 2018, MSRA continued working independently, focusing solely on the area redefined by David Schwab's post-analysis, and in 2019 they further reduced the search area. In 2018, Van Heest appeared in an episode of the popular TV show Expedition Unknown, hosted by adventurer Josh Gates. During filming, Van Heest mentioned the efforts her team had made to locate Flight 2501, and Gates expressed interest in continuing the search with her and MSRA. He hoped to create an episode about the project. The episode was filmed in August 2019 and aired as a 2-hour special in February 2020. It featured Van Heest, her husband Jack, David Schwab, and MSRA divers Todd White and Jeff Voss, along with others who had been involved with the search. The episode, titled The Missing Airliner, was an adaptation of Van Heest's book Fatal Crossing for television. To summarize, there are 2 key mysteries surrounding Flight 2501. The request to lower the altitude is still an intriguing question. Although the storm was severe, other aircraft flying in the same area didn't report major turbulence, and the descent request was made without further explanation. This could have been a precautionary move to navigate around the storm, or there might have been an immediate technical issue that prompted this action. Unfortunately, we'll never know for sure what led Captain Lynn to make that decision. Despite extensive search efforts, the exact crash site of Flight 2501 remains a mystery. Although wreckage was found off the coast of South Haven, Michigan, and other debris was located, pinpointing the exact location of the crash has remained elusive. The failure to conclusively identify the crash site, despite decades of search efforts, points to the possibility that unpredictable environmental factors, such as wind or a potential mechanical failure, may have caused the aircraft to deviate from its intended flight path, making it harder to locate. In short, these two questions continue to haunt the investigation into Flight 2501, and it seems unlikely that the mystery will be resolved anytime soon. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this unresolved case.